I can't either. And this development, which was called the Ambiance site, we protested against it with more than 100 members of the East Colfax community across Denver and Aurora. And today that site sits empty, and we hope to bring a vision for something that can serve our community to that land. So we are here today because our community continues to face challenges after challenges, and there are big decisions that will soon be made that will shape the future of this community. One of those decisions is the DDA, the Downtown Development Authority Board of Directors will be voted into their positions on June 22nd. This board of people will have access to resources, to money. They will be collecting the increases in sales tax and property taxes in the downtown boundary, which we are in right now, for several decades, and we're able to decide how to invest that money. The GLC has been involved in the process for the DDA since November 2024, and we have a few things to say about it. One, the whole timeline for this process of redevelopment was set to end in November of 2025. It was shaped around a hard deadline to get something on the ballot, rather than taking the time to actually engage community. The first time many people heard of this process was at a public meeting held by the city's consultants at North Middle School in March of 2025, 8 months before the DDA election. The consultants said at this point, the community engagement process was mostly done by them, but people were already being made to consider the DDA as a solution. And while some leaders in our community did support the DDA in its campaign stage, not to say that's a bad thing, we know the engagement with our community wasn't enough, and the election results show it. While the DDA did pass with an 83% vote on the ballot, only 170 people of the roughly 2,500 who are eligible to vote took a position on that question. That's about 7% of the eligible voters. And despite this lack of engagement in our community, through consistent work through the GLC, we were able to get 27 recommendations included in the DDA Plan of Development draft, which we are hoping the DDA board will act on. And there's a couple other things that are coming up. One of those things is the retail strategy. As we see our beloved small businesses on East Colfax struggling to survive and make it, the city is now proposing a plan to prioritize bringing in businesses that produce lots of sales rather than investing our resources in money into supporting those existing small businesses. And 3, bond measures that could end up on the ballot this coming November, where the city will determine where more than $2 billion of our taxpayer money will go. Right now, when we need investment in so many things in the city and in Northwest Aurora, the city's proposing that almost $900 million be used to fund new Aurora Police Department facilities. Right on cue. So with all these major things upcoming, we need to see the community's priorities be put into actions and not just words. Whose community? Our community. Whose community?
Our community!
Whose community?
Our community!
Whose community?
Our community!
And first up to speak on some of these priorities is Chiriboga-Flor, a resident of Northwest Aurora and co-founder of Justice for the People Legal Center. Please welcome up Dre.
Hi everyone, my name is Chiriboga-Flor. I'm the Executive Director of Justice for the People Legal Center. My colleague Jason Legg and I co-founded JFP in 2023. We're a nonprofit law firm dedicated to fighting for the rights of renters and mobile homeowners across the state through impact litigation, grassroots organizing, and policy advocacy. Most of our cases involve challenging unlawful junk fees and violations of the Warranty of Habitability Act, among other issues. Landlords take tenants to court every single day. We believe we should be able to take landlords to court when they violate our rights as well. I'm also a resident of Ward 1 and live right off of Colfax. Many of my neighbors work in construction, hospitality, and retail. They are building our cities, feeding us, making sure our communities run. Yet all across the state, we see our taxpayer dollars going towards stadiums, police departments, luxury apartments out of our price range, development that caters towards wealthy people or tourists from out of state. I work with mobile home residents in wealthy mountain towns that refuse to invest in affordable housing and then wonder why all the shops in their town can't find people to employ. Meanwhile, Denver is building a new stadium and residents have to fight tooth and nail to halt data centers from coming in. Aurora has an opportunity to do something different. Grassroots communities know what everyday working class people need. Let us be a resource to you. One key policy we'd like to see developed is a rental registry. When landlords defer maintenance and charge exorbitant junk fees, we believe these are examples of constructive evictions. These actions ultimately push people to the brink of becoming houseless. While numerous grassroots organizations, including East Colfax and 9 to 5, have done an incredible job at passing critical legislation aimed at improving the rights of renters and mobile home residents at the state level for over 7 years, without enforcement and oversight, those laws are just words on paper. As one of the only firms set up to provide free legal services and do affirmative litigation to address root causes, it is absolutely impossible for us to keep up with the demand for enforcement. It's up to local governments to improve upon these laws, and one way to do this is by creating a rental registry program to complement the current inspection program, since we know that there's landlords that are so incredibly wealthy that a slap on the wrist or fine is not always enough to change their behavior. We have an opportunity to learn from dozens of examples from across the country and take best practices to create an even better, more effective version here. We, alongside Degolia Law and Sue My Landlord, have been working alongside East Colfax Community Collective and representing residents displaced from Nome Street. Unfortunately, you are all probably aware of CBZ management and their abhorrent predatory practices they use in their properties. In actuality, it's the landlords themselves that are the ones facing criminal charges and have warrants out for their arrests to this day. I think we can all agree that steps should have been taken to prevent the property from getting to the point of condemnation, and that we must do everything possible to prevent that from happening in our communities. We cannot afford to lose any more units. The criminalization of homelessness in this city is outrageous, yet City Council in favor of criminalization aren't doing enough to prevent further homelessness. We're excited that there is interest from several City Council members to work with impacted communities on this issue. We firmly believe that this would be a powerful tool for tenants to assert their rights and improve the livelihood of thousands of families. We're asking City Council today in the city, in different departments, to commit to this process, particularly one where the voices of people impacted are leading the conversation, because there are examples of very ineffective registries out there. We're also asking the city to prioritize everyday residents, workers, families with children to improve our neighborhoods in a way that doesn't gentrify, displace, or criminalize our people. We don't need more studies to know what's needed. Trust us, the organizations on the ground, to create a city where everyone can thrive. Thank you.
Thank you, Dre. Does anyone have more chance? I got like 2 hours of sleep last night, so I only came up with one. Any more chance? I'm just kidding. Whose community?
Our community!
Whose community?
Our community!
All right, next up, I'm going to welcome up Vero Marquez, a beloved member of a community and a parent at Montview Elementary.
Good morning, my name is Imelda Gutierrez and I am a community organizer with Food Justice Northwest Aurora and I will be interpreting.
Buenos días, mi nombre es Verónica Márquez, soy residente de Aurora por 10 años y tengo una hija en la escuela primaria Montview.
Good morning, my name is Veronica Marquez and I have been a resident of Aurora for 10 years and I have a daughter at Montview Elementary School.
Primero quiero decir la razón por la que estoy hablando hoy día. Es porque las inscripciones en la escuela primaria Montview está disminuyendo, la gente está abandonando la comunidad porque no se sienten seguras. No se sienten seguros porque se sienten vigilados y saben que los datos de vigilancia se comparten con ICE, como ocurre con las cámaras FLOG. El paquete de bonos de Aurora destina casi $1,000 millones a la policía de Aurora por los próximos 10 años. La policía no mantiene una buena relación con la comunidad. Están adquiriendo más drones y sistema de vigilancia en lugar de fomentar vínculos o una relación saludable con la comunidad. La vigilancia temora más temor que sensación de seguridad en la gente. Más tecnología equivale a más miedo. Más fondos para el Departamento de Policía de Aurora no son la solución.
First of all, I'd like to explain why I'm speaking today, given that the enrollment at Montview Elementary has declined. People are leaving the community because they don't feel safe. They don't feel safe because they feel surveilled and know that surveillance data is shared with ICE from the flock cameras. The Aurora bond package gives almost $1 billion for Aurora Police over the next 10 years. Police don't have a good relationship with the community. They are buying more drones and surveillance systems instead of creating a healthy relationship with the community. People have more fear with surveillance rather than feeling safe, and more technology means more fear. More funding to APD is not a solution.
La ciudad de Aurora, incluida la Junta de la DDA, debe de invertir en las prioridades comunitarias del Plan Colfax. Por ejemplo, invertir en servicios integrales ofrecidos por las organizaciones comunitarias y en alternativas saludables para los jóvenes. Brindar apoyo de salud mental a través de programas como el equipo de respuesta móvil de Aurora. También más apoyo para las organizaciones que apoyan a la comunidad, la educación y pequeños negocios.
The City of Aurora, including the DDA board, need to invest in community priorities in the Colfax plan. For example, investing in comprehensive services provided by community organizations and investing in healthy alternatives for young people, providing mental health support through programs such as the Aurora Mobile Response Team, and more support is also needed for organizations that support the community, education, and small businesses.
La seguridad no consiste en invertir $900 millones adicionales en una nueva sede para el Departamento de Policía de Aurora, en vigilancia y en la adquisición de terrenos, tal como se plantea en la medida de bonos denominada seguridad. Más bien, se trata de invertir en infraestructura básica en el centro de la ciudad, más como alumbrado público y aceras. Necesitamos comunidades seguras, no comunidades vigiladas.
Safety does not mean investing an additional $900 million in a new headquarters for the Aurora Police Department, in surveillance and in land acquisition, as opposed in the bond measure called safety. Rather, it means investing in basic infrastructure in the city, such as more streetlights and sidewalks. We need communities to feel safe, not surveilled.
Thank you, Veronica. Next up, I'm going to welcome up Jason Romero, who is the co-founder of Ollin Cafetzin.
My name is Jason Romero, and I am one of the co-founders of Ollin Cafetzin, a Mesoamerican coffee shop and ethnic studies library just across the street here. I'm also a resident of Aurora. For years, small businesses in downtown Aurora have been operating under conditions we did not create. Years of disinvestment, empty storefronts, missing basic goods and services, unstable housing, and a public infrastructure that has not met the needs of the people who live and work here. So when folks start talking about the Downtown Development Authority and a new retail strategy, we need to be real about what those strategies do. If it makes development easier for landlords, corporations, and anchor tenants, but leaves existing small businesses fighting for survival, then it is not community investment. It's displacement. It's gentrification with better branding. The answer is not to bring in big chains and hope the benefits trickle down. We've seen what that does in the past. One of the answers is direct support for existing small businesses. Grants for businesses impacted by the BRT construction. empty storefronts prioritized for basic goods and services, right of first refusal, commercial land trusts, safer sidewalks, better lighting, reliable transit, and public spaces where people can gather without being criminalized. East Colfax does not need development that markets our culture while pushing our communities out. We need repair. We need protection. We need ownership. We need a DDA and a retail strategy that does not just hear the community, but acts on behalf of the community.
Thank you, Jason. The open offer, if you have any chance, let's try them today. It's still open, just think about it. Our last speaker today is going to be Caitlin Matthews, who is a co-founder and executive director of Food Justice Northwest Aurora.
Alright, hello everyone. Thank you for being here today. Thank you all for being here today. It's great to see you. My name is Caitlin Matthews. I'm a co-founding member and the executive director of Food Justice Northwest Aurora. At Food Justice Northwest Aurora, we believe that the cultural richness and uniqueness of Northwest Aurora is a precious resource that we must support and preserve. It is the people of Northwest Aurora, the current residents and business owners, that create this cultural richness. So when the Colfax Community Vision and Action Plan talks about protecting the area's character while promoting economic prosperity that benefits everyone, we must see the city explicitly prioritize investments in the current residents and current businesses. Because what gives a community its character, if not its people? We have seen what happened in the 5 Points neighborhood in Denver, where even the name has changed to Rhino, where artists painted murals of the Black community, while the very same Black community members were pushed out by development, higher rent, and gentrification. We are here today to state loudly and clearly that Northwest Aurora is not a blank slate. It is a community worth preserving. And we are not waiting for outside investors and developers to come in to erase the true diversity that we already have here and replace it with a facade of Northwest Aurora's character. Through the Colfax Plan, the new Downtown Development Authority, or DDA, has an opportunity to invest in Northwest Aurora's vibrant business community, such as the 24 small food markets along the Colfax corridor that will fight to stay here, unlike the national chains such as Walmart and Walgreens that have already closed their doors. And yet Aurora's official retail strategy aims to attract corporate chains and hip new stores through tax incentives. We call for the DDA board to invest in and support small businesses, recommendations that the community and the GLC advocated to include in the Colfax Plan. We also want to uplift that housing affordability and housing quality are a top community need and desire. However, housing will not be the primary focus or strength of the DDA. Therefore, in addition to the DDA, the Colfax Plan also proposes the formation of a new Community Development Corporation, or CDC. There are a handful of existing nonprofits that act as community development corporations that are already here. They purchase, preserve, and/or develop affordable and dignified housing in the Colfax corridor. Rather than creating a new community development corporation from the ground up, thus delaying the distribution of critical resources that would protect against the destruction of affordable housing, we call on the City of Aurora and the DDA to build on and invest in the existing assets, including the nonprofits trusted by Northwest Aurora residents. This too is, in fact, in the Colfax Plan, so let's see it in action. These nonprofits need space to coordinate and collaborate, as well as substantial resources to implement the recommendations of the Colfax Plan. We need to amplify the strengths that this resilient community already has, not start from scratch.
All right. we're almost at the wrap of our press conference. Thank you again, Caitlin. A couple of things that I just want everyone to walk away with, that we want everyone to walk away with. On June 22nd, that bond package for safety that we talked about, I can't tell you how to vote or what position to take, but I encourage everyone to look into it and bring your voice to City Council on June 22nd as you see fit. And then 2, for the DDA, I want to thank all of the DDA nominees for coming today, all of you that could show up. We want the DDA board, city officials, and electeds to prove their values and actions. And while we understand and while we express that there are many problems in the process leading up and through the DDA, we are not here to tear it down. We are asking for you all, the DDA board, after appointed, to meet with the GLC in a public meeting so that we can share our priorities as we've seen and heard from our community. We want to work with you, not against you, and we're inviting you in to work with us. And when you all are elected, we want the DDA board to prioritize GLC recommendations to the Colfax plan. With that said, I want to thank every single person for coming today. I want to thank our brave speakers. Please give it up for the speakers once again. Thank you to each and every single one of you for coming. It's going to take us as a community to fight for this community, and I truly believe that we can do that. If you want to learn more about the Grassroots Leadership Council and any of its member organizations, there's a table under the tent just to our right. And I think a fitting way to close, Sister Ote, you want to try the chant? Of course.
Northwest!
All right. That concludes our press conference. Thank you for coming.